Okay, so good evening all. So today we are starting our gate preparation for the subject control system. And since you all of know that control system is very important subject from electrical engineering to contribute for the gate exam, and it carries very good weightage, and that also we had seen in our previous interaction. And then we will start with the basics of control system. So before moving ahead, I will just let you know through the syllabus and what is exactly syllabus and how much we are going to cover today. So this is the syllabus of our control system. So it is divided into basically two parts which we study in our regular curriculum, control system 1 and control system 2. But very important topics are taken here throughout our syllabus. Our syllabus contain many more topics, but the main important topic are covered in this GATE syllabus here. So mathematical modeling and representation of systems, and then basic feedback principle. That's what we call as a closed loop system. That is the second topic. So generally before mathematical modeling and representation of system, we need to study some basics of control system. For that we require some basics to understand this mathematical modeling and its representation. So we will go through it today. Then we have transfer function. This transfer function is nothing but our mathematical concept, and its application in relate with the control system, that is this topic here. Then block diagram and signal flow graph. This is very interesting. So from the representation of control system with the help of block diagram as well as signal flow graph, we try to derive a simplified transfer function which represents our control system. And various interesting problems are there in GATE exam on these topics. Then transient and steady state analysis
Sir,
of, yes,
your screen is not visible.
the screen is not visible. Is this problem for everyone?
No, sir. Screen is clearly
From
visible,
my
sir.
side, I think.
Okay.
Screen is, sir, clearly visible. No any issue,
Okay,
sir.
Komal is
Okay,
also
sir, I
saying not
think.
visible. No,
Okay,
sir,
I
your
will check.
screen is not visible. Okay, so I will stop presenting and then
Okay,
again
okay,
try
sir.
to present.
Visible, visible.
Sir,
Acha.
visible screen, sir.
Anyone please confirm? Now it is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Clearly visible.
Okay, so we will move ahead now. So transient and steady state analysis of linear time invariant system. Okay, LTIS, it is called as LTIS. So here there are two analysis we have to do, transient and steady state. So generally in our syllabus, steady state analysis we study in control system 1 and transient analysis we study in control system 2. Then we have RH criteria, that is Routh-Hurwitz and Nyquist criteria. They are nothing but the tools for which we calculate the stability of our control system. So based on various statistical and mathematical as well as graphical calculations of control system, we try to derive the stability. So that is, one is RH criteria, that is Routh-Hurwitz criteria, then Nyquist criteria, then we have Bode plots. Okay, so this is a plot drawn on the semi-log paper. Okay, and we draw this plot and we derive with the help of some formulas and derivations. We try to take out some stability conclusion from the Bode plot. Then there is root loci. It is also graphical technique, and yes, stability analysis. Then lag, lead, and lead lag compensators. That is again wonderful topic which is used for calculating the compensation. Basically, all these are compensation techniques. So to attain the stability, we need to add or we need to take out some components of the system. So to just enhance the rate of stability, we just add this lead and lag compensator into the system. Then we have P, PI and PID controllers. They are also the tools which are used for enhancing the control ability of the system, and they are also categorized in three types. So proportional, then proportional integrator, then proportional integrator and derivative controllers. Then we have state space model and state transition matrix. Okay, so now we will start with today the basics of control system, which are very much required for understanding the mathematical modeling representation of system and feedback principle. So let us start with the topic. Yes. Yeah. So we will start with the introduction now. Okay. And then we have taken out some peculiar problems of the control system one, which have came in the previous GATE exams. Okay. So after studying some basic concepts, we will cover these all the problems with solutions. Okay, so these are some problems we have based on the basics of control system topic. And likewise, after studying the theory, we will go through the problems of that topic. Okay, so we will see some theory before to just recapitulate what are the basic concepts. So consider a liquid level control system whose control objective is to keep the water level into the tank at high TH. So let us take an example of a simple control system where we have to control the level of water into the tank. So controller is an automatic device with error signal E of S as an input. So E of S will be considered as an error signal. So for the new students, new means those who are in third year not have came across the control system subject, I would like to tell. So basically any system, so what is meaning of system? So system is nothing but an arrangement of various components for attaining certain objective. So that is called as a system. And a control system is nothing but when we need to control that system with respect to the desired result, then it is called as a control system. So for that we require a element called as a controller. For that we require a controller which will control that input. So generally it is a sensor. In a basic block diagram of a control system, we see that it is a sensor. Just for example, let us take that we have blades, we have capacitor, we have running winding, we have stator winding, and we have one shaft, and we have electrical supply 230 volt. So all these are the components, and if we combine them together, then it forms a fan. Now its basic purpose is to convert basically electrical energy into mechanical energy, and mechanical energy will give us a wind or an air which will be thrown onto the person who is sitting below that. So this is nothing but the function of a fan. Now here all the components of the control system are the parts of control system, and it is simply a system. Okay, it is simply a system. So when it is a system, so and when we try to control it with the help of certain tools which are being added into the system, just like we have a regulator there. So when speed regulator is there, so we can control the speed of our fan. So then it is called as a control system. So now we also see that control system is of two types. So first is nothing but open loop control system and closed loop control system. Okay, so that we will see here. So point is to say here E of S is nothing but error. So just like let's say I just switched on my fan, and now it's a summer time. Now when it's summertime, I need to have the fan on the full speed. So to have fan on the full speed, I am just putting the fan at the highest speed. Let's say there are highest speed as 5, so I will put it on the 5th speed. Okay. So now if after operating on its 5th speed, I am not able to get the desired air what I want from the fan. So it is nothing but an error. Okay, basically fan is expected to rotate at highest speed where it is expected to give comfort at in the summer season, but it is not rotating due to some fault action. So point is here we are understanding there is some error which is happening. So the difference between the desired result and the observed result, the difference between desired result and the observed result can be considered as a error. Okay, so controller, what is the function of controller? It a automatic device with error signal as input. So controller takes that error signal. So controller will take that error signal and controller output, it's called as a P of S here, affecting the dynamics of the plant to achieve the control system objective. Therefore, output of P, that is controller, will be of f of E, the function of error. Their error is called E is called as steady state error. So point is to say here, error signal which is coming in the feedback of our control system is considered as a function that controller input is basically given by error signal, and that controller input E will be considered as the function of our controller. Okay, therefore controller output P is equal to f of E. Okay, so the different modes of controller operation are proportional, proportional plus integral, and proportional plus integral plus derivative. So these are the modes of operation. That's what we have also seen in the syllabus. So in these three modes it operates. So why it is called as proportional, why it is called as integral, why it is called as proportional integral, and combination of all the three. So basically it directly relates with its nature of the mathematical operation, proportionating, then integrating and derivating like that. Okay, so that we will see further. So there are two basic control loop configurations. So that is, first is nothing but the closed loop configuration, and second is nothing but the open loop. So that we will see further. So closed loop configuration and open loop configuration. So first I will tell you the open loop configuration. So open loop is basically simple. When there is no feedback from output to input, it is called as open loop. When there is feedback from output to input, it is called as a closed loop. Okay, so we are discussing the example of fan. So now when we are discussing example of fan, so why we have switched on fan? The desired input was to get the air, but if we are not getting it according to our expectation due to some faulty condition in the fan, so till the time there is no feedback, okay, till the time there is no feedback from output to input side, it will be considered as open loop system. So generally whatever the fan is present at our home is an example of open loop control system. What is mean by closed loop control system? So fan will be called as a closed loop control system when it will automatically adjust. Remember the sentence, when it will automatically adjust the speed of its speed according to the required temperature, according to the required temperature. So it doesn't automatically adjust and automatically get switched off. So exactly opposite example is an AC. So now in air conditioned system we see that generally AC, if we will keep it on automatic mode, so it immediately sense the temperature of the room, and the standard temperatures levels are being fed as a programming into the AC, and it senses that temperature and automatically adjust according to the temperature. So when we put it on the automatic mode, so generally it accepts the temperature which is being present, and accordingly it will give us the temperature which is being necessary in that atmosphere. So that is the example of closed loop system. Whereas in fan, even if there is a fan is rotating at, let's say, third speed or fifth speed, but now the temperature has gone favorably down, means there is no basically hot feeling now. So we are not feeling anything hot there, and we want that now fan speed should be low. So we need to go manually and we need to minimize the speed of the fan. So that is a manual operation. So that doesn't make the complete system close. So With the help of manual interaction, it is trying to make, basically it is getting closed, but we want a control system to be self-closed. For that, we require to have its own functioning, just like I told you the example of AC. So in closed loop configuration, changes in the output are measured through feedback. FB stands for feedback and is compared with the input. So set point to achieve control objective. Okay, so now whatever the set point we will achieve. So set point will be already given. That set point will be considered as an desired output, and whatever the fluctuations will be there, that can be adjusted with that. So feedback employs measurement, that is sensor or a transducer. So we have sensor for it or we have transducer for it. So let us take a simple example. So now this is a water and this is an inlet. Okay. So it is provided with a height of h. Now here we have a wall that is called as a control element over here. Okay, so that is nothing but the outlet, and this is an automatic controller. So this is automatic controller which gives us the set point. So how much is the water level now, and at what point we have to switch on the motor to get it filled again. Okay. So this is the feedback. This is basically the block diagram of this particular system. See now. So this is input. Let me zoom it more. Yeah. So this is set point or input which will be decided here. This is called as our feedback. Okay, this is called as, and what is the sensor element they have used? Level transducer. So this black point here indicates that it is a level transducer. Okay, so transducer is a physical element which transducer is a element which converts physical quantity into mechanical electrical signal, or mechanical quantity into an electrical signal. So this is a measurement block we have here, and B of S stands for error. Okay, B of S stands for feedback input, and E of S will be the error. So this is a feedback which is coming out from this side. Now set point is already set, and this negative sign indicates that the output which is coming here, it needs to be subtracted. It needs to be subtracted means what? The output is higher than the set point or the desired output. When the output is higher than the desired output, so this particular transducer level will sense that it needs to be goes down. So final error signal will be what? Final error signal will be IP, that is R of S minus B of S. Okay, E of S will be what? R of S minus B of S. So this point is called as a summing point. So R of S minus B of S, that is nothing but E of S. So this is an automatic controller. Okay, so automatic controller is also connected to our plant inlet and outlet tank water. Okay, and then we have a control element. Okay, this is our control element. Now if you will see our control element, so this particular instrument is also available in the market. So it is called as water level sensor. So what we do it, so when we purchase this particular product, we put one one wire of that instrument into our water. Okay, and it is exactly parallel to the tank outlet. When the water tank is full, so it get out of that particular tank. So exactly at that pipe level we put our one wire, first wire. Okay, and the second wire will be connected directly to the ground through our socket. So only one wire will go up in the tank and another wire through socket will be connected to ground. So as soon as our tank is getting full, so it is getting connected to the connection which is made at the outlet of the tank. And as soon as it makes the circuit, so we know water is a good conductor of electricity. So water and then that wire through the ground circuit, it makes the circuit. And in between that we put one alarm over there. Okay, so as soon as we hear that alarm, the manual operation can be done. Also, the automatic operation can be done with the help of programming or microcontroller programming over there. So when we keep that control element as a microcontroller there, so that microcontroller takes that input. As soon as the circuit gets completed, it receives high input, and that high input will be considered as to switch off the supply. Okay, and that switching off the supply can be automatically operated. So like that, this particular operation, previously we had considered it is a manual operation with alarm system, but now with the help of this control element as a microcontroller, it can be done with what? That particular system, which is called as a closed system. So this is an example of closed loop control system. So exactly open loop control system will be what? When there will be only alarm is there, where by hearing the alarm, a man will go there and will shut down the button. So that is the basic difference between open loop and closed loop control system. So that's what we had seen here. E of s is equal to R of s minus B of s. Okay, so this is summing point. Okay, so since this is summing point, so final output, see, this is also input to the summing point and this is also input to the summing point. So what is going out here? So E of s is going out. So E of s is equal to R of s minus B of s. So that's what we have written here. E of s is equal to R of s minus B of s. Okay, so now this is basically a derivation of closed loop transfer function. So CLTF, that's what we call it as closed loop transfer function. So now we know that E of s, basically we write this as B of s is equal to C of s into H of s. So what is C of s? C of s is called as controlled input and H of s is called as a feedback element. Okay, so here, so this is C of s. Okay, so this B of s is nothing but the multiplication of this. So these are all the block diagram reduction rules what we had already studied in our control system. So block diagram reduction rule says that whatever the elements are in series, we can just multiply them to form a next block formula. So if this is B of s, which is being input to this particular block, so whatever is coming from this side, that will be all multiplication element. So this particular block, measurement block, is denoted with H. Okay, multiplication block is denoted with what? H. So this is H of s and this is C of s. So C of s into H of s. And also we have called this as E of s is equal to C of s upon G of s. So here, see, E of s is equal to what? C of s upon G of s. So G of s is nothing but our forward path transfer function. Okay, and this is our C of s, so output. So basically error is nothing but C of s upon G of s. Okay, so after doing every mathematical calculation, we come to know that the closed loop transfer function is equal to forward path transfer function, that is G of s upon 1 plus G of s into H of s. 1 plus G of s into H of s into R of s. So basically C of s upon R of s is equal to, also we can write, C of s is nothing but controlled output, R of s is nothing but reference input, G of s is forward path transfer function, and H of s is feedback path transfer function. So closed loop transfer function is considered as C of s upon R of s. So C of s is nothing but what? Output. C of s is nothing but controlled output, and R of s is nothing but controlled input. So it is called as I. So when output upon input is called as transfer function, that is our mathematics definition. Laplace of output upon Laplace of input is called as what? Transfer function. So yes domain terms indicates what? They are in the Laplace transform. Okay, when they are in T domain, we say that they are in inverse Laplace transform form. So here the definition of closed loop transfer function is mentioned with the help of its formula. So G of s upon 1 plus G of s into H of s into R of s. Okay, so control canonical form. So here this is a basic block diagram of our closed loop control system. Okay, so what it is, this is R of s reference input, G of s forward path transfer function, H of s feedback path transfer function, E of s is error, B of s is feedback signal, and C of s is the output. So controlled output upon reference input, controlled output upon reference input is equal to g of s upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. So that's what we had seen. Now, this is a new topic which we have not studied in our control system 1, sensitivity analysis. So what is meaning of sensitivity basically? So sensitivity is nothing but the property of a control system to sense the least magnitude of signal, and to the degree it senses the preciseness of the least magnitude signal, that will be called as most sensitive control system. So can you please tell me, is it required that a control system should be more sensitive or less sensitive? Yes, ideally our control system should be more sensitive or less sensitive. Very good. So more sensitive. So when there is more sensitivity in our control system, so it will able to respond to the least change which is being accepted in the control system. Okay, just like in AC, we are sitting in the conference hall and we have kept it in automatic mode, and it's terrible summer. Okay, we are feeling heat outside. So now as soon as we go inside, we feel very cool atmosphere over there. Okay, but now the outside atmosphere is also going down and down. Basically temperature is getting lower and lower and lower. So what we feel at that time, now that particular temperature of AC, if it's not working properly, if it's not sensitive to the environment, so basically it will create very much uncomfortable inside that conference hall. So for that, it should be very much sensitive towards what is the exact temperature which is required in the system. Okay, so for that we need to have that system to be very much sensitive. Now it depends upon this formula. So yes alpha, yes beta. Okay, so what is alpha here? A variable that changes its value. And what is beta? A parameter that changes the value of alpha. Okay, so sensitivity of alpha with respect to beta. Okay, so what is the formula for sensitivity? So sensitivity will be what? Percentage change in alpha upon percentage change in beta. So now with the help of our particular AC example, so what we can sense for AC as alpha, so variable that changes its value. What it is changes its value? It changes its value, that is nothing but temperature. Okay, so generally AC will deal with what? Temperature change. Okay, and a parameter that changes the value of alpha. So which parameter should change the value of alpha? Means which parameter should change the value of temperature T? So it will be a dependent factor based on another temperature, or we can say, yeah, it depends on the atmospheric temperature. Okay, atmospheric temperature. So what is the present atmospheric temperature? So that will be considered as another parameter. Okay, so basically the complete sensitivity will be defined as d alpha, that is a small change in temperature, upon as good as the temperature will be, let's say the temperature has to be adjusted to 27 degrees Celsius, because let's say the temperature level is little higher than that, so accordingly it will adjust. So as soon as it will become a ratio equal to 1, so that will be called as the perfect sensitive material. It senses as good as what we want. Okay, so sensitivity of a closed loop control system, that is CLCS. So here one formula is being derived, sensitivity. So basically after deriving this formula, we get that the sensitivity will be given as sensitivity of a system. Okay, so sensitivity of a system will be given as 1 upon g of s into h of s. So generally it is just a formula which we take out from our closed loop control system. So closed loop control system is generally represented by C of s upon R of s is equal to g of s upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. So here we have little similar formula for the sensitivity, 1 upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. Okay, so what is this 1 plus g of s into h of s? This factor is called as a noise reduction factor, or it is called as a reduction, or sorry, return difference. Okay, return difference. Now, why it is called as a noise reduction factor? So noise reduction factor is basically the unwanted signal which is being added into our control system. So that's why it is put it in the denominator. Okay, we want it is lesser, lesser and lesser. That's why for the sensitivity, the noise is exactly inversely proportional. So here we can see the relationship. Sensitivity with respect to noise is exactly inversely proportional. So if 1 plus g of s into h of s component increases, it indicates that it reduces the sensitivity. Basically, noise is increasing, so sensitivity is getting reduces. When noise is getting decreased, so sensitivity will increase. Okay, like that. So now sensitivity of closed loop control system with respect to disturbance in H of S, that is feedback element. Okay, so feedback element if introduced into the control system, so what is it? So that formula is also derived here. So alpha is equal to M of S is equal to C of. So basically here our system will be called as M of S, so closed loop control system, and beta will be called as basically disturbances in feedback element. Okay, so generally this formula is very rarely used, so we will keep this. So note, one important note we will read: the closed loop control system is more sensitive to disturbances in feedback elements than forward path element. Okay, basically it is more sensitive to what? Feedback elements than forward path elements. So basic form of control system, we had seen that it is having input, then it is having forward path, then output, and it is having this feedback path. So the conclusion is that, so derivation is not important, you can just see here the formula for feedback element sensitivity is what? Gs Hs upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. Whereas we had seen the sensitivity formula for the forward path, that is 1 upon same denominator, 1 plus g of s into h of s. So from that what we can conclude that is more sensitive for disturbances in feedback element. Why we can say that? Because in numerator it is having the term gs into hs. So basically these terms which are in the numerator, they will be directly proportional to the disturbance, and their direct proportionality will help us to gain more sensitive value. Okay, the more sensitivity can be trapped with the help of this particular formula, which is for the feedback element. Okay, then we will study this open loop control system, which we had already discussed. So they are a conditional control system formulated under the basic condition that the system is not subjected to any type of disturbances. So generally we decide the open loop control system. It is not that it is not at all necessary. Whenever there is no disturbance is coming, so fan is the example. Basically there is no frequent failure in the fan speed. That's why there is no requirement of a closed loop there. Okay, whereas in AC generally it is applicable to a large number of gatherings where we require this AC, and a big hall where it is very difficult to control the speed temperature, there we require air conditioning. So open loop is also applicable somewhere where its applications are very much economical, just like our fan we can take. So fan we doesn't require a closed loop control system. In this configuration of feedback, the feedback or measurement is not connected to the forward path or controller loop. It is not required. Feedback is open loop. Feedback in open loop system, except for displaying the information about output, do not have any major significance. This is the significant, basically this is the significance of feedback, is known as elimination of feedback. So generally in open loop control system, whenever if feedback is used, so that feedback is just used for displaying the number. Okay, what is the number? Basically displaying the output. What is output is getting just we have to just display it on some monitor or dial. For that we will use that particular output. Otherwise, there is no extra need. Just like we have various displays. Okay, so it is just displayed on the system. So that is nothing but our system. Okay. Yeah, so this is the same example what we had studied. So performance analysis is not applicable to these systems because they are not subjected to any type of disturbance. Give out a desired output for desired input. So it generally gives us the desired output for desired input. So there is no requirement of the automatic controller. So there is this automatic controller is not at all connected to this system. Okay, it is not at all required. So this is a open loop system. So whatever this signal is used, so this is not connected to the input. You could see this is the open loop system. The loop is not getting complete. Loop is not getting complete. Okay. So it is just connected to display here for what? Just to display what is the output reading. Okay, so generally in open loop system they are also not used, but the example is just given here. They can be used for just displaying the reading of the output, just displaying the reading of the output. Okay, all these are the examples of open loop. So this is also open loop system. Now this can be reduced to this with the help of block diagram. Okay, so block diagram reduction rules. So G of S into H of S. Okay, so that will be written here, G of S into H of S, and this is what? G of S. So sensitivity of open loop transfer function with respect to disturbance. Now they are just trying to calculate the sensitivity of open loop transfer function with respect to the disturbance. What is the disturbance being carried out inside the system? Okay, based on that it will be calculated. So the ideal sensitivity of the system is basically 1. Okay. Okay. So now here we will see one example. Okay. The open loop and closed loop system are shown in the figure. So this is open loop system and this is closed loop system. Very clearly visible. This is open loop and this is a closed loop system. For 10% change in the forward path, the response of open loop system and closed loop system will be affected by. So they are telling that in this forward path, we are changing our input by 10%. Okay, so forward path is nothing but a part of the input side. And if we are changing that input or forward path by 10%, the response of open loop system and closed loop system will be affected by. So now see, it is nothing but the sensitivity problem. So that's why we are taking it immediately after that. We have to check that what the sensitivity of the system is giving the response based on which type of system it is. Okay, type of system, either it will be open loop or closed loop system. So these are the options: 10%, 10%, 1%, and 10%. Okay, like that. So let us see the solution. Now this is open loop control system. It will be 10%. How we can directly conclude it? Because see here, there is no any feedback, and this particular output, whatever we are able to see here, so that will be, see, the whatever the output which will be getting, that is only and only dependent on what? Input side and the forward path blocks, whatever the forward path blocks are here. Okay, but closed loop control system transfer function is given by what? Sensitivity of closed loop transfer function with respect to feedback element is given by, for a disturbance, is given by 1 upon 1 plus G of S into H of S into 10%. Okay. Now this is nothing but we can say the sensitivity formula. So this is the formula for, see, this we have studied here, 1 upon G of S into H of S. It was just up. Yes, so this is the sensitivity, and here see, so sensitivity is, this is the formula. So sensitivity for closed loop system. So sensitivity of a closed loop system. So sensitivity of a closed loop system can be calculated by formula 1 upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. Now its sensitivity we have to calculate, but they are telling that the disturbance or the change happening in the forward path is 10%. So we will just try that for a 10% how much it will be sensible. Okay, so we will just try to multiply it with the help of whatever the percentage they have given us. So 1 upon 1 plus, what is g of s here? G of s is nothing but forward block, that is nothing but 10. In feedback path we have 1. Okay, in feedback path we have 1, and this is 10%. Okay, so 10%, what is 10%? This is the data which is already given here. For a 10% change in the forward path, we have to decide its sensitivity. Okay, so answer will be 0.1%. And for open loop system, so we don't derive the open loop system sensitivity, because it is as good as whatever the change is expected, that will directly happen with the help of disturbance which is just getting inputted into the control system. So it will be the similar, so it is very easy to trap out the option. So for open loop system, so it will be same, so either it will be A or B. Okay, so in these two options we have to decide. So for that we have to multiply the change which is happening in the control system with the help of what? Closed loop control system sensitivity formula. Okay, so here we will get option B for it. Next example, a closed loop gain when feedback of gain is 9 by 100. So feedback of gain is 9 by 100 is connected to, so feedback of gain is nothing but output upon input. So feedback is generally the output is C of s and input is R of s. So it is given here 9 upon 100 is connected in the system as shown below. So they are asking the closed loop gain, total closed loop gain of the system, whatever is mentioned here. Okay, so we have to calculate gain, and they have given us the tolerance also. So plus minus 10% of the tolerance. Okay, so we have very simple basic formula. Closed loop transfer function is equal to g of s upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. So what is gh? Basically g is nothing but 100. So g is 100 is mentioned here with 10% tolerance. Okay. Okay, so we will first calculate the closed loop gain first. So closed loop gain will be calculated with the help of formula g of s upon 1 plus g of s into h of s. So 100 upon 1 plus 100 into h is nothing but 9 upon 100. Okay, which is given here, feedback gain. So we are getting that it is 10. Okay, we are getting that it is 10. Now to calculate the closed loop gain when feedback is 910 when connected in the system, so we have to consider this plus minus 10% tolerance also. Now this tolerance is nothing but one of the kind of disturbance which is happening into the system. Okay, so when the forward path is getting changed with the help of 10% change in the system, then we say that yes, that is the disturbance. And to calculate that particular part of the closed loop gain, we need to consider that tolerance also, and that tolerance will be considered as disturbance. That's why I use the formula of sensitivity of a closed loop system. So now sensitivity of a closed loop system is given by the formula. Okay, same formula, 1 upon 1 plus g of s into h of s, and it will be multiplied by 10%. Okay, it will be multiplied by 10%. So 1 upon 1 plus 100 into 9 upon 100 into 10. So basically 10. Okay, so 1 upon 10 into 10%, so 1. So this is nothing but that closed loop tolerance we will get. So what is the answer? The closed loop gain will be what? 10, and 1% will be the overall tolerance. So our answer will be what? This answer will be B. So closed loop gain will be 10, and the overall tolerance will be what? 1% tolerance. So this is closed loop gain when feedback of the gain is 9 by 100 is connected in the system. So closed loop gain we have obtained with the formula C of s upon uh, C of s upon 1 plus, sorry, G of s upon 1 plus G of s into H of s. So this is the formula, G upon 1 plus GH into 1 plus G into H. And here we will have this 10% of tolerance here. Okay. So these are the sensitivity based formula examples. These are very basic. Okay. Now we will learn the concept of transfer function. So transfer function we already know with the help of mathematics. A mathematical model representing a control system relating to input and output in the form of a ratio. Okay, so output divided by input. So generally output divided by input is called as a transfer function, but more precise definition we can say that Laplace of output upon Laplace of input, that will be called as our transfer function. Okay. So transfer function basic formula. So now they have just given one electrical circuit, and here V is the input, and we will consider the output across our inductor. Then by applying Laplace transform, or let's say we are applying just KVL here. So when we apply KVL, we get this particular formula with respect to Laplace transform. So V of S is equal to I of S into R of S plus L into S into I of S. So how that S has come here? So it indicates the derivation factor. So generally we write the current flowing through inductor as current flowing through voltage drop through inductor as V is equal to L into di by dt. V is equal to L into di by dt. Like that we write this particular equation. So when we take its Laplace transform, so we write L into, so derivation can be written as S into, and I current will be called as I, so that I will be written as I of S. Okay, I will be written as I of S. So here, if we will try to take out the formula by taking out common terms, so V of S is equal to I of S taking out common R plus Ls. Okay, R plus Ls. So I of S upon V of S will be this particular formula. And again, if we will try to derive it with the help of taking out the S term outside, okay, taking out, sorry, L outside. So when we take out L outside, 1 upon L common, so here we will take 1 upon L, and here we will get L. So basically we are just taking out L. So finally we will get this form. So this was the basic expression what they had given us. V is equal to IR plus L into di by dt. And then after some mathematical calculation we are getting this formula. Okay. So transfer function is basically C of S upon R of S, Laplace of controlled output upon Laplace of reference input. And this will be written in the pole zero form. So this is pole zero form. K is nothing but the gain of the system into S plus Z1, Z2. So Z1, Z2 are nothing but the input zeros, and these P1 and P2 are called as the poles of the system. Okay, so zero and poles, where K is called as the system gain. Okay, this is called as pole zero form. And what is time constant form? In time constant form, we take out that particular pole value outside. Whatever the pole and zero values are there, we just take out outside, and we try to form a time constant form, 1 plus T of S. Okay, 1 plus T of S or tau S. So and transfer function that will be represented with the help of time constant form. So that will be in this particular standard form. TA 1 plus TAS and bracket 1 plus TBS, like that. Okay. So where this particular form, so what we have taken out outside from denominator P1 and P2, and from numerator Z1 and Z2 we have taken out common. From which formula, sir? This formula. Z1 and Z2 we will take out common, P1 and P2 we will take out common. So whatever will remain here, so some term will be getting attached to this S domain, and that is called as the time constant form. Okay, so TA, TB and T1, T2. So TA will be called as 1 upon Z1. Yes, very obvious. So TA will be called as what? 1 upon Z1. If we will take out this common, so yes upon Z1 we will write here. Yes upon Z2 we will write here. Yes upon P1 we will write here. And yes upon P2 we will write here. So they are mentioned here, 1 upon Z2. Okay, T1 1 upon P1, T2 1 upon P2, like that. Okay, so this is actually a pole zero plane, or we will call it as a S plane. So in S plane, the axes are mentioned like that. So in this way, we will represent our control system on a pole zero plot. So these are nothing but the this is sigma, that is real axis, and j omega is called as an imaginary axis. X is nothing but pole, and zero will be mentioned by encirclement. So if I want to represent a pole here, so pole will be represented with the help of cross. Okay, pole will be represented with the help of cross in this S plane. So if I am just drawing cross here, what does it indicate? The pole of the system is present on the positive real axis. Okay, positive real axis. If I am drawing zero here, okay, this zero is having its coordinate system from real axis also and from imaginary axis also. Let's say its position is -2 here, and on j omega axis, let's say it's -2j. Yeah, let's say it's sorry, plus 2j. It will be on positive point, so plus 2j. So this pole position will be considered as -2 plus 2j, like that. So it is the indication that where the poles and zeros are present on the system. So this is a general formula of mathematics in S domain. So S is equal to limit r tends to infinity r into e raised to j theta. Okay, where theta stands from 0 to 360 degree. Okay, this is a mathematical formula. So this is basically a pole zero plot, which we are frequently using for drawing pole zeros and root loci, as well as Bode plot and Nyquist plot. So we will utilize this plane for uh, concluding the stability of the system using the plots. Okay. So from equation 1, the transfer function of the linear time invariant system may be defined as, what is meaning of transfer function? The ratio of Laplace transform of output to Laplace transform of input under the assumption that the system initial conditions are zero. So this is the basic condition for what our uh, transfer function, that initial conditions are to be considered zero for that particular system. Then it is called as what? A transfer function. So poles and zeros are those critical frequencies which make the transfer function infinite or zero. So infinite or zero, it depends on what are the inputs and what are the outputs of the system. So if output is zero, so that can be considered that that transfer function is having zero value. If output is some value and input is zero, so Laplace of output upon input is nothing but transfer function. So it will tend that if input is zero, then that will be considered as an infinite system. Okay. So for our system, we have various inputs to be given. So we have impulse response and its transfer function. So various signals can be given as input to the signal, input to the control system. Now to analyze the stability of the control system, we generally analyze it through various test input. So they are nothing but this input signal. So as an input, we will try to test them with the help of these various signals. So impulse signal, then step signal. See, impulse signal is characterized by this. So generally we could remember them by the symbol. Okay. So impulse, then step. See, this is like a step here. This is impulse. Okay, one signal which is going upward. Okay. So based on seeing this signal, we could able to characterize their equation, and that's what we are going to use for its analysis. When we will take its Laplace, okay, just like r of t, its Laplace is nothing but this Laplace transform of 1. What is Laplace transform r of t is equal to 1? So r of t is equal to 1. Its Laplace transform will be r of s is equal to 1 upon s. Okay, so here we use some mathematical concepts. So various concepts of Laplace transform, basically basics, the Laplace transform and inverse Laplace transform. So basic Laplace and inverse Laplace equations you should know, just like for sine, cosine, for various functions like let's say there is a function called 1 upon s plus a, then exponential function e to the power t, what is Laplace. So that's what we should know. So I urge all of you to just go through the Laplace transform table. Okay, just inverse Laplace and Laplace transform. You must have already solved various problems in mathematics, but you can remember them. So this signal is categorized or signifies this particular equation. R of t is equal to 1 at t is equal to 0. See, when t is equal to 0, R of t is equal to 1. R of t is nothing but what? Reference input in t domain. Reference input in t domain is equal to 0 when t is not equal to 0. Other than the value of 0, so this is t. Okay, this is t line, time input or time axis. So other than the values of this 0, anywhere we are not seeing this particular signal existing. So this impulse signal is just a one impulse which is just going up. That's all. There is nothing more than that. Okay. So this is called as an impulse. So whenever we will come across impulse input, so it will be R of t is equal to 1. Step input A into U of t. So this is A is nothing but its magnitude, and U of t stands for a straight line. So how its Laplace transform will be calculated? Laplace transform will be A as it is as a constant, and U of t will be 1 upon S. So it is basically unit step. Okay, so unit step is indicated by U of t. So unit step means basically 1. So 1 Laplace transform, just like here we had taken in impulse, 1 is Laplace transform 1 upon S. Similarly, A multiplied by what? 1. So its Laplace transform will be A upon S. And we will write it as U of t is equal to 1 when t greater than 0. When t is greater than 0, it's not less than. Okay, when t is greater than 0, we are getting output. But when t less than 0, there is no output. Okay, t less than 0, there is no output. So that is nothing but step input. Then this is ramp signal. Okay, ramp, it indicates the ramp slightly inclined. So R of t is given by A into t. It is basically changing with time. Okay, this particular line, its magnitude is changing with time. That's why it signifies the time domain. So that's why its function is like this. R of t is equal to A into t. So we generally saw this same formula in our straight line passing through the origin. Y is equal to mx. So what is that? Y is equal to mx. So y is equal to mx means m is nothing but the slope and x is nothing but the dependent variable. So here also R of t is nothing but the value of that particular input, just like y. What is the value? Equation value is equal to m into x. So when t is greater than 0, it is at. And what will be its transform? So whenever the t function is there, so its Laplace will be what? A upon s square. So basically the Laplace transform of t is 1 upon s square. Okay, 1 upon s square. So that's what we come to know from the Laplace transform. So here we have this ramp signal. So whenever we will use a ramp input, then we have to use this particular transform. Okay, then we have parabolic. Now parabola, we have the formula a t square by 2. So now t square, so just like t was having the Laplace transform as t square, 1 upon s square, 1 upon s square. Similarly, we have t square. So now t square by 2, its Laplace transform is given as a upon s cube. So basically one power is getting added. Here was basically only t. So we have got s square here. Okay. So now we have 2. So we have in the denominator 3. Okay. We have in the denominator 3. And this 2 is getting actually basically Laplace transform will be the formula t square is equal to, so generally t square is equal to 2 upon s cube. That will be the formula, but it is already here t square upon 2. So we are writing here a upon s cube. Okay, a upon s cube, and it is represented like this. So when t less than 0, it will be 0. Okay. So finally our transfer function formula is this, and C of s is equal to Fs into R of s. Okay. So transfer function is C of s upon R of s. So C of s will be is equal to multiplication of this. So they are just deriving the formula. So generally, what is the relationship between these particular signals we are getting here? So Laplace transform, let R of s is the impulse response. Impulse response means what? Now we are taking impulse input. Okay, impulse input. What is impulse input formula? R of t is equal to 1. R of t is equal to 1. We have R of t is equal to 1. So that's why we have taken impulse input as 1 here. So C of s will be what? Impulse response. So this is impulse input and this is impulse response. So Fs into 1. 1 is nothing but impulse input. So it will be called as a transfer function. So now Laplace of impulse response is equal to transfer function. Laplace of impulse response is equal to what? Transfer function. So d by dt of parabolic response is equal to ramp response. D by dt of ramp response is equal to step response. D by dt of step response is equal to impulse response. And Laplace of impulse response is equal to transfer function. So how we have proven that? See here, Laplace of impulse response is equal to what? Transfer function, because f is nothing but our transfer function and impulse response is 1. So 1 multiplied by anything, that is nothing but the original transfer function. So transfer function for the impulse input will be an impulse response. It's the same transfer function. But where d by dt of parabolic response, what is parabolic response here? See, parabolic response is a upon s cube. Okay, a upon s cube. Now when we will take its derivation, we are getting this. So that's what they are saying. Derivation of parabolic is ramp. Ramp derivation is step, and step derivation we are getting as impulse. Okay? So that's what it is written here. Okay. So now, okay, so these are the problems based on this. Okay, so for today we will stop here. Okay.